Hello and welcome to another Driven Catalyst live stream. It is my favorite day of the week, New Music Friday, and today I've got some good stuff. So this is going to be a very hangout live stream because I have had such a good music week. So I just want to talk shop a bit with you all. And I have probably one of the most exciting new artist discoveries for myself in a bit. And so I have to put you all on, and we're going to talk about that because not only is it like a new artist discovery, we are coming in hot. We have a whole album that I have to recommend because sometimes I find a new artist and it's so exciting. And I have an EP that I get to put you on, or I found a new artist and there's a new single out, but I've been listening to the rest of their discography and I'm really excited about it. No. This is a new artist I discovered today because of a new album that they put out. And now I have so much homework to do. I'm excited to watch live sessions. I'm so stoked about their discography, but I really have only locked in at this point on their new album that came out today. And so I'm going to put you all onto that. I have it linked down below if you want to look ahead. But first and foremost, we do have to talk about King Princess. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it sweet because I did accidentally clear out my notes on the album, but I am a big King Princess fan. And King Princess put out their new album, Girl Violence, today. 13 songs, 34 minutes, 58 seconds long. We can round up to 35 minutes, I suppose. And title track pretty quickly establishes the thesis statement of the album, I would say. I liked it, put us into the world very quickly. I would say the thesis statement of the album is something along the lines of, I think very oftentimes there is sort of this watered down perspective of the simplicity it may mean to court a woman, we'll say, and the idea that it's just so much easier to be around women. And I think that is a lovely perspective. But I would say that the thesis of this album is that there's a lot of complexity there, actually, and that's sort of a watered down take. And the album sort of explores some of the tumult of that. And it is an album full of bops, as you would expect from King Princess. So I'm a big fan. I loved Jamie. Jamie, Origin, Get Your Heart Broken, Girls, and Alone Again were my immediate saves. Because I cleared out... I have Serena saved too. That is the track closer. Track 13 is Serena. So a good amount on first listen I saved immediately. I've been listening to Cry, Cry, Cry and R.I.P. KP since they came out as lead singles, so I was already pretty locked in and ready for this album, and I will say I was not disappointed at all. This is a bop forward album, I will say, which is to be expected from King Princess, but I kind of fell in love with For My Friends and... Give me a moment. One moment. I'm asking for another moment, please. Could we get another moment request that I'm submitting For My Friends? And then there's another song that's not coming up right now. Is it because I guess I'm not looking at the singles and EPs? So it's stowed away. Should I not just be able to look at my liked tracks from them, though? I should be able to, is my answer. 55 songs I have saved from King Princess, though. Little Bother, that's the song, featuring Fouché. I adore both of those songs, and they're slower songs. They're nothing that you would expect, I think, from King Princess. And so I was curious if we were going to get more of that from this album. I should have known better because we have messed up club makeup with glitter on the face in the blurry album cover, which I also really like. I can't remember if I've already said that. And we do get some of that. I would say Jamie leans a little bit that way. There are certainly slower songs on the album, but this is a bop forward album. It's an album full of the songs of the summer. Very appropriate for the beginning of fall. So that's a great album. Highly recommend giving it a listen yourself. And we are going to keep it pushing now. I guess before, I'm going to keep you all on the edge of your seat from this new artist discovery, and I'm going to talk about new J-Som music in the meantime. J-Som put out an EP, or perhaps a single. September 9th is the release date. There are 4 songs. It's listed as a single. It's giving EP, but I am curious if they're listed as singles because they are lead singles for a new album. I got an email from Pitchfork that I skimmed but have not read in its entirety. But I do believe there is a new J-Som album coming out soon. I really, really love Doom and Son, but other than that, I would say my awareness of J-Som is probably limited to the Bachelor album. For those who do not know, there is a album from Palehound and J-Som. Their collaboration name is Bachelor, and the album they put out together is called Doom and Son, which I do own, and I do have it hanging on my wall at home. Big fan of that. So that is kind of the primary awareness that I have of J-Som. Barring there are songs from Lucy Dacus, I believe, that J-Som is on. But today I locked in and I listened to What You Need, which is the title for the EP or the upcoming album, perhaps, from J-Som. And I really, really loved it. One thing I will say is I am a very lyrics-forward person, and I did not pay much attention to these lyrics because I was working. But I loved everything I was hearing sonically. Because I'm a lyrics person, struggle sometimes with production where the music overpowers the vocals. And there were moments where I was feeling that way. But that is to say, there is a lot of music that fits into the indie subgenres that's almost exclusively how it is, where the very interesting instrumentals and production is meant to overpower some of the vocals, and so this is not a criticism, it's an observation more than anything. So that was something I struggled with, just because that's my bread and butter, is I like to listen to the lyricism. But man, it is already shaping up to be just such a sonically interesting album, or EP, when it comes. So I will definitely be watching for that. I'm very excited for new J-Som music. I love most every artist that is signed with Pitchfork. I'm a big not Pitchfork, sorry. Polyvinyl. I've been saying Pitchfork this whole time. I meant Polyvinyl. I'm sorry. Polyvinyl and Keeled Scales are the record labels that I really, really enjoy watching. I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and talk about my new music discovery for the week. And I am deathly afraid that I'm going to butcher the name. I do think it's joviale or joviale. And I'm going to read you their artist bio on Spotify, because I immediately bought in. I was so thrilled to read it. I had already kind of skimmed a song and been really intrigued by everything I was hearing sonically. And I do want to remind you all, I just stood on my soapbox and told you about how I'm such a lyrics girly. I will tell you, it's not for lack of interesting and good and intriguing lyricism. I would say I think it's a little sparse on there being too many vocals or lyricism across the album I listened to, at least. The music, the production, the layering of everything, the world building is so phenomenal. I, as a lyrics girly, as someone who loves the sort of classic stripped down singer-songwriter vibe, I'm locked in. I'm listening to Joviale. I'm obsessed. This album is so good. I cannot recommend it enough. So with that, I'm going to read the artist bio now. Okay. Joviale makes music that feels like a show. Drama lies in the tension between pop impulse and something more cerebral and sensorial. A multidisciplinary artist from North London, they came up as a theater kid and now harness their prismatic creative expression across mediums, fusing components of visual art, performance, and recording into a singular world. In 2021, following their Hurricane Bell EP, I have skimmed that one a little bit, and I did really like it, which caught the attention of Pitchfork and Crack magazine, they quietly receded from view in an effort to evolve and hone their skills as a writer and producer. In 2025, out from behind the curtains comes Mount Crystal, their full-length debut on Ghostly International, an ascendant conceptual album that reintroduced Joviale's point of view. Songs are electric and soulful, dashed with jazzy experimentation, rhythmic rock, and vibrant sound design, all realized alongside co-producers John Carroll Kirby and Jakari. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And a cast of collaborators including Sam Wilkes, Carter Lang, and Will Miller, among others. So that's one thing I'll immediately say. I used to be a DJ at an all jazz station. And as I was listening to some of these tracks, I was thinking, oh man, if I was still in college DJing at that jazz station, I would absolutely be sneaking some of these songs. Well, probably not sneaking. I would be going and talking to my boss and saying, does this fit genre-wise with what we're doing here? Because it's so phenomenal. There was a moment where I paused reading the bio because I was trying to figure out if the word used was electric or eclectic. And I feel strongly that both fit. In this artist bio, the word electric is used. But I will say, from what I listened to of Hurricane Bell, it leans more closely to a less experimental, I guess, more straightforward, what you would maybe expect from sort of an indie artist of sorts. This concept album is just so its own thing in the most beautiful way. I think whoever wrote this artist write-up too is very... I think there are times where I benefit strongly from getting to read the bio and feel like, okay, I'm connecting with the right parts and listening to the right things on the album. Cerebral, sensorial, using the words, their prismatic creative expression across mediums, talking about how the artist is like primarily a theater kid. I just feel that, and maybe it's because I am also a recovering theater kid, but the world building in this album is just astounding. I so enjoyed it, and let me see, jazzy experimentation. I will say, like, the jazzy influence and sort of R&B, I always have a hard time with, not a hard time, but I always feel a little bit like, am I wrong? When I try and diagnose something genre-wise, because genres can be they can be such a catch-all way of diagnosing music, and I don't know. I never want to speak out of term, I guess, but I would say, like, yeah, the jazzy influence is pretty prevalent. The standouts to me on this album are Crush and Hark. And but you have to listen to the whole album. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. It's a prerequisite. Like, those are my favorite tracks, but you do have to listen to the whole album. It is a masterpiece. It's one of those that you just do need to listen to start to finish in order. I'm always big on emphasizing too, though, that like, because I know realistically, like, we're not listening to music like that day to day. Most of us probably aren't. I certainly do, and I certainly have my friends that do. But I will say there are so many tracks on this that I think they'll come up on shuffle and you will listen to them still, right? They fit out of context too, but I'm telling you, as someone who appreciates art and music, you do have to lock in and listen to Mountain Crystal all the way through. It's just that good. Okay, so my notes that I do have on Crush and Foul Play. Oh, yes, I have notes on Crush. Hold on, what? Foul Play. Yes, okay, sorry. For a second I was like, I'm not seeing that track on the album right now. Where'd it go? I found it, sorry. Forgive my eyes. Okay, Crush, insane layering on the track. Okay, it is when I also started to let some of the vocals take the forefront and I started locking in on some of the lyrics, and they're great too. But it is such a complex and beautiful landscape of a song I have written down. For Foul Play, I have overlapping speaking, swirling and ebbing fuzz and ambient noise. Some of the most interesting production I've heard in a bit. I adore it. So those are my main notes. Sometimes with albums, I just get lost in them and I can't make myself write notes. Other times I sit there and I almost obsessively type. This is such a visual album. If you really like let it unfold in front of you in your mind, that I just couldn't bring myself to write too many notes. But there were some moments where I in Crush and Foul Play, if you listen to Hark and Foul Play, I promise you'll know what I mean. There are moments where just the overlapping and the layering on the track is so compelling that I just like almost had to rush to write things down. So good. Okay. So that is my glowing review of Joviale. I'm going to figure it out. I did try to do my homework so I could figure out how to say the artist name correctly. I could not find any like NPR or live performance where any sort of like stage personality introduces them, which was unfortunate because I really, really wanted a helping hand on the pronunciation because I wanted to come in and sound good and say it right. But I instead just want to say, go listen. That's what matters. Okay. Loser by Tame Impala is a song I have saved from this week. That's a release that I believe came out today. It came out September 3rd, but I finally listened to it today and I really like it. That new album is coming up. I pop a pee into the microphone. Is that okay? It's like the number one thing you're not supposed to do. Not the number one thing, but it's pretty high up there on the list of do's and don'ts. Of don'ts, I suppose. Deadbeat from Tame Impala is coming in 34 days. I have been looking ahead. I have so many albums that are coming up that I'm excited about that I am hoping to and planning on making a calendar. That'll probably be something we do on live stream together at some point next week. A calendar of what albums we'll actually be talking about on New Music Friday as they come, because we've got new Taylor Swift coming, we've got new Brandi Carlile coming. There are so many fun things that I want to listen to. I probably will throw the Tame Impala album in. I'm not totally familiar with too much Tame Impala music. I, of course, know their 2015 album Currents. But other than that, I am nowhere near the fan that I feel like could be. And so I think maybe we will add that release to the calendar too. I try to look forward on Album of the Year, the website I like to look at to find new albums, which is how I found Joviale. So big shout out to that website. I adore it. But they have a way to look at the albums that are upcoming. And so I have a working list of of things that I'm going to make a fun little calendar graphic for, hopefully, maybe. So we'll do that together. That will be fun and exciting. I do want to talk about Lucius a little bit, because a huge part of my great music week was because I kicked it off on Saturday seeing Brandi Carlile, Lucius, and Alison Pontier at the Red Rocks. And I can't remember. I'm in full disclosure, I did start a live stream prior to this, and then it ended up production-wise just not being how I wanted it. So I stopped it and started again. So I may be repeating myself, but I discovered, I didn't know I knew Lucius, and as I was seeing them live, I was just so blown away. I was excited to give them a good and thorough listen, and after the fact realized that my best friend in high school made me a playlist in high school, and man, she really put me on to some phenomenal stuff. I would say like a good amount of my music taste can be credited to that playlist she made me. So lots of love to her. But there was a Lucius song on that playlist. And so I do have some awareness of Lucius's music, which I didn't realize at the time. But then they absolutely blew me away at Red Rocks. And I have given a good, thorough listen to their discography. And I'm going to go ahead and just name off the songs from Lucius that I have saved over the past week. Okay? The Man I'll Never Find from their album Second Nature. LSD from their album Second Nature. Joyride from their album Joyride. Feels Like a Curse from their album Nudes. Next to Normal from their album Second Nature. Orange Blossoms from, I believe, their upcoming album, Orange Blossoms. I think this is a newer release, which I'm very excited about. They are featured on Repossession from Grace Potter, featuring Lucius from the album Daylight. And then now we're going to dive into their self-titled album, Lucius, which is pretty recent for a self-titled album. I feel like usually self-titled albums are pretty early in an artist's career. This is not the case for this album, Lucius from Lucius. But I was driving around listening to basically just the artist shuffled on Spotify, and I just kept saving songs. And for sure, there was a fair amount of music scattered across their discography, but more often than not, I would look and it was the same album art, which is like it's an animal jaw teeth, and it's the self-titled album. So I cannot remember if I've made it all the way through. I don't think I've listened to it in its entirety in order yet. It's kind of hard to tell just based on the sheer amount that I already do have saved from the album. But from self-titled, I have Final Days saved, Do It All For You, Stranger Danger, and Hallways. Then I have Take a Picture from the album Take a Picture saved. I have Ghosting saved. Ghosting from the album Ghosting, I suppose. Or it could be a single release. I'm not really looking at organizationally how it all fits in. And then, of course, they are on Brandi Carlile's In the Canyon Haze re-release of In the Silent Days, and they are just exceptional. So it's been a big week for me and Lucius. And I suppose those are the main saved songs of note from my week. I mean, that was quite a few, y'all. Still listening a bit to Double Infinity from Big Thief from last week. So that has not gone anywhere. And I have been diving into, I cannot remember if I've talked about Role Model on live yet, but I was a big fan of Kansas Anymore earlier this year. And as some of the Vivo lives have made their way to Spotify, I feel like I've been re-listening to Kansas Anymore. So those have been on the list. And then I guess honorable mention too, I'm a huge Noah Kahan fan, and I'm a huge Gracie Abrams fan. And there's a movie trailer out right now that has, is it Everywhere Everything? Is that what it's called? One moment. Let's hold space for it. Yeah, Everywhere Everything featuring Gracie Abrams. I was there. As Styx season was happening, I was there for sure. But Noah Khan was feeding us a little bit too well, right? We were getting re-releases of kind of the whole album featuring the most impressive and exciting artists featured ever. So there are a lot that have like fallen by the wayside for me. I haven't been listening to them the way I need to be listening to them, in my own opinion. And there's a new movie trailer out right now that features Everywhere Everything with Gracie Abrams. And I went, hey, wait a minute, how am I not listening to this? I'm loving that. And so I went and saved it. Like, I always bring a blanket to the movie theater. And so I like had my phone light hidden away under my blanket while I'm like looking up the song so I can save it and cue it for the drive home on Spotify. So I've been listening to that quite a bit. And then just because we're talking about it, there is, of course, a Brandi Carlile feature on that same re-release album. I'll go ahead and tell you exactly which one it is. I don't have it committed to memory. Styx season forever. Holy, yeah. The features on this re-release are crazy. You're going to go far with Brandi Carlile. And as we're talking about Brandi Carlile features, I just also should talk about the Brandi Carlile feature on Hozier's Damage Gets Done, right? Yes. Man, that's got to be one of my favorite songs of all time. That song is so, so good. Okay, I think we've sufficiently nerded out about music together. I told you it was going to be more of a hangout. It was going to be a word vomit. I just had to tell you all about everything I've been listening to because it's been a good week. It's been a great week for music. Because I do also just love to assume that everyone is on the same page with me, and like we can all enjoy and be evangelical maybe about the same experiences. I want to say, if like, I know I'm not the first person to say this, I know that there is a reason that it was on my bucket list. The Red Rocks Amphitheater is the most life-changing venue you will ever see a show at. If ever there is an artist that is going to Red Rocks, that means the world to you. I cannot recommend enough making the trip, if it's a trip for you, to go see that artist at Red Rocks. Like, I cannot overstate how life-changing it is. I'm just still different. I'm different inside from Saturday. And it was my second time going. I didn't think that the second time would feel just as ridiculously magical as it did the first time. And it was. I should have known better. It just is the most beautiful, amazing venue ever. And every artist lights it up in their own way, I believe. And so I just can't recommend it enough. Okay, we're going to rehash everything now because I have to. Got to wrap it up, right? So Joviale or Joviale or Jovial, hopefully one of those is correct, has a new album out, Mountain Crystal, and that is that's actually required homework for you. You do have to go and listen to that one. It's so phenomenal. Girl Violence from King Princess is out. Bops on Bops on Bops. Make sure to lock in. Have fun with that one. And then go ahead and listen to Lucius like I have been. We're all a little bit late to that party if you're late to it too. But it's a party worth attending late, I'll say. Oh, okay. And then one last thing. This is like a little treat. This is not new music, but it's new to me. There is the most ridiculous mashup, ridiculously great mashup out there. And I have at this point made almost every loved one in my life listen to it because it's so crazy and so fun. It is a mashup of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up and Promiscuous from Nelly Furtado. And you do have to listen. You should go and listen, like right now. There's a YouTube link down below. So shout out to the visionary and artist who made that mashup possible. It's down below in the show notes. And then, of course, I have the Bandcamp for Joviale linked. Go find King Princess online, wherever you might find King Princess generally. I didn't link that one as much because, in the interest of keeping things work friendly as possible, I know obviously I just talked about the album, but maybe not linking it doesn't feel like the right vibe, but I'll point you in that direction. Okay, so definitely go listen to Girl Violence from King Princess, Joviale, and a little bit of Rick Astley and Nelly Furtado for you on this very, very, very fun new Music Friday. Have a great day and weekend, and I